Okay, so with the conclusion of The Bad Guys, which we watched last night, Clay and I have seen every theatrical DreamWorks movie, because we already watched Puss in Boots 2 in theaters. We will watch it again for the sake of completing the marathon, but we technically have achieved what we set out to do by watching all of them. And in some ways, The Bad Guys feels like a better finale than Puss in Boots 2. Not that I think it's a better movie, because Puss in Boots 2 is on a very short list of being the best DreamWorks movie. It is phenomenal in every possible regard. But The Bad Guys feels like this is kind of the epitome of what a DreamWorks movie is. And that's good and bad at the same time. Now, I will go ahead and just say, overall, I liked it. I had a good time with it. To me, it's like a B movie. Maybe a B+, because I have a soft spot for heists. But I feel like there's... So I guess let's kind of go into some of the specifics. Let's start with the things I don't like. It's not a very unique theme. And it's not like it's a bad theme about how, it's... Sometimes being a good person is just a good thing to do. Sometimes you do good things. I mean, I guess there's something maybe a little fucky about it. It's like, be a good person, not because it's the right thing to do, but because, it just makes it feel tingly inside, and it's good to be good. Like, if you're cynical enough, you could see the selfishness of it. Like, yeah, be good, because you get praise. Almost sounds like Marty from Engage. Praise me, I've done good things. Rather than doing it for the sake of doing it. But I feel like it's more kind of leaning into that. It's like, no, because like it feels good to do good because it's just good. It sounds very childish, but I feel like it still comes across innocently enough. Although it's not a super unique message. Part of the message is also about discrimination. Oh, excuse me. And about perspective. Things are not always what they appear. And of course, it has a twist villain. And then it has another twist with the identity of another major character. Both of which you can see coming from a mile away. As soon as they were like, oh yeah, there was this thief who tried to steal the golden dolphin and the crimson paw, and then they retired. They were never heard from again. I was like, oh, it's the governor. The crimson paw. She's a red fox. I already see where that's going. And then as soon as you meet Professor Marmalade, and he's just so sickeningly sweet, just like his name, and, he talks about, he's like, it's like the wagging your tail. I was like, oh, so he noticed the wolf wagging his tail earlier. He might have been that old woman in disguise. Oh, so he's the bad guy. Yeah, and from what I understand, it was supposed to be very obvious that he was the villain. So it did what it was supposed to. But again, it's like, I just kind of saw where this was going. I could kind of tell where most of this movie was going from, like, from the first, 5-10 minutes, which I don't love. It did feel very kind of by the numbers. There's this recurring fart joke, which was just not funny. Again, at least for me, it was something where every time it happened, it just kind of took me out of it, like, oh, we're doing this. Okay. Something Clay and I noticed, I know we had audibly said this to each other, is that how did 2 Boss Baby movies show more restraint than this when it came to, poop and fart jokes? I gotta see. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, how did Boss Baby show more restraint with toilet humor than this movie? I'm genuinely shocked by that. Okay. And it's things like that. And also, the other part of it's moral. Let me try that again. When it comes to being about discrimination, how, they only see me like this, so I might as well act like this anyway. It's like, well, I've seen this movie before. Twice, actually. One is Zootopia. Because when Wolf is saying all that, I'm like, this just sounds like Nick Wilde. So, oh, what do you know? You've got a DreamWorks movie trying to be a Disney movie or a Pixar movie. This really is the epitome of Now, I definitely feel like DreamWorks became its own original thing at a certain point. But I know that was something a lot of the really early films were criticized for. It's like, oh, look, Disney and Pixar made a movie about fish. Well, now we get Shark Tale. I'm trying to think of others. Or like, Bug's Life. Ants. That's the big one. That's literally how they started. The new Kraken movie feels like it's just kind of a parody of The Little Mermaid, or at least the main antagonist is a mermaid that looks like Ariel, and it feels mean-spirited, and I'm excited for it. Like, I kind of love that. Something Clay pointed out after Trolls 2 was this movie's plot feels like the plot of Frozen 2. And yeah, it kind of is, and it just feels like I hated Frozen 2, so did he. It was like, wow, they took the idea of Frozen 2 and made it not suck. I don't know if this one was on purpose or not, but if so, I feel like this is DreamWorks' not their biggest, it's their most subtle, at least that I can think of, but it's their best fuck you to Disney that I've seen the entire time. This is great. This is amazing. But like, yeah, this feels like Diet Zootopia in terms of its message, and Zootopia is my favorite Disney movie. This also is something I've seen before in DreamWorks because it's Shrek. I literally said to myself at one point, I was like, they, like, a big, stupid, ugly ogre. They judge me before they even know me, that's why I'm better off alone. Like, this is just reminding me of Shrek. And it's not a bad message, it's not a bad idea, but I've seen it before. I've seen you guys do the same thing, and I've seen another company also do it with animals, and in my opinion, do it way better. So it just doesn't feel super original. There's the fact that their team is called the Bad Guys, which to me, it's just a little on the nose. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, this is awful. But it was one of those the name just didn't quite do it for me. Although I will say they showed enough restraint to not play the Billie Eilish song, which I don't dislike. But I just kind of assumed, I was like, oh, that's going to be like the main theme in the movie. That's either like during the opening scene or like right at the end. It's like, oh, I surprisingly didn't hear it. I will give them some points for not playing the really obvious song. Okay, so let's talk about the things I did like about the movie. Because while I said, like, yeah, there's some things that didn't super work for me or I thought were really generic, there are a lot of things I like. As I said earlier, I have a soft spot for heists. Love Ocean's 11. It's such a, like, it's, what I love about heist movies, all the intricate scheming, the part where everything goes to shit, and then it's revealed that this was part of the plan. Yeah, I love the nice suits, I love the gadgets, I just love how it's a bunch of incredibly competent people doing what they're really good at, having a good time, and it's like they tend to have really good chemistry with each other. These people are part of a team. Even if they maybe don't like each other personally, they work together well. And there's always just a lot of fun with that. But a lot of it is just kind of the wolf and the snake, because the other three just seem like they're kind of there. Like, they'll have their moments, they might have their jokes, like the shark, which, yeah, one of his disguises is he just wears a fake mustache. I think it's like the Groucho glasses. And I just looked at Clay. Fake mustache! I'm like, wow, they literally took that one line from Suicide Squad with King Shark and just made it into a character. But I actually do find it pretty funny, like the scene where they're trying to break into the lab and he dresses up as a guy's father. He's like, yeah, I'm here to play catch with you, son. Like, that, I thought that was really funny as, Snake keeps hitting the wall and just keeps missing it. Like, yeah, this is funny. But yeah, like, anytime they're actually planning a heist or, going with the plan, it hits a soft spot. I like that a lot. The ending reveal that Snake was double-crossing Marmalade the entire time. It's like, oh yeah, this is what I was doing to make sure, like, we got the meteorite. Or it's like that he never actually stole it. Or, like, used it for its shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, I loved that. That was a lot of fun. The action scene... Okay, so the action scene at the start of the movie where it's just this GTA car chase through LA. That's a lot of fun. The car chase in the climax of the movie where they're putting the override machines on the vehicles is fun. Especially that scene where I don't, what was her name? Diane, I think was the name of the governor. When the governor is on her motorcycle and she's like going, it's like sliding underneath a truck. Like that was really cool. I'm trying to remember some jokes that really made me laugh. I think quite a few of them did come from the shark. Or, when Snake eats all the fucking guinea pigs that they're supposed to be saving, which was in the trailer. So it's like, I've seen this joke already, but it's still funny. I enjoyed it. It hurts my nose. But, I did like the characters. I thought they were fun. I liked their interactions off each other. I loved the art style. It has a very Puss in Boots 2 Spider-Verse kind of feel to it, where it feels like it's trying to be very comic booky. I don't think it's as good as those two movies with its aesthetics, but it's something I think, like, I had noticed it really quickly. It's like, oh, this has a very unique look for Dreamworks movies. I dig this. I like this a lot. And I think for me, the animation is actually one of the things that endears me to the movie quite a bit. When they do Shrek 5, I'm kind of hoping it's going to be in this art style. I won't be mad if Shrek 5 looks like a previous Shrek movie. But I really kind of hope it does. And I know I saw the trailer for the Kraken Mermaid movie. I don't super remember the art style of it. I don't know if it also kind of looks like this. And if just like, yeah, this is how DreamWorks movies are going to look going forward. We'll see. I don't know if I do want all of them to look like that, even though I really like the art style. Again, it's one of those things that we'll kind of see. Yeah. Sorry, I zoned out for a second. But, I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, I guess the other thing I want to say is, while I saw it coming, Marmalade's reveal is actually a lot of fun. Well, just showing, again, a heist movie, how he's been playing them the entire time. I had a good time with that. I think that is pretty much it. Again, I think it's like a B movie, maybe a B plus, because of how much I like the animation, how much I like heists. I don't think it's anything super unique. Oh, I do have to bring up the opening scene when they're talking, when Snake and Wolf, dressed super nice, just hanging out at a cafe or like at a diner, just shooting the shit, immediately made me think of Pulp Fiction, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I had to shout that out. It's like, I liked the opening scene a lot. Like, it's a movie that to me does hit some buttons, and it hits good buttons, but there are some things that do, for me, kind of bring the experience down. It does not make it a super mid movie. It doesn't make it a bad movie, in my opinion, but it does just kind of be like, yeah, this is a DreamWorks movie, where even when there's some things that I like or that really appeal to me, there'll usually be quite a few things that just don't work or don't feel super unique. Which feels really bad to say, because there have been some movies where they have knocked it out of the park, which for me would definitely be the first two Shreks, Prince of Egypt, Megamind, the first Kung Fu Panda. I still think the Kung Fu Panda sequels kick ass. Okay, in B movie, like, it's just, the humans look fucking disgusting, but I do think B movie's really funny. Madagascar 3, oh, I guess that's another thing to bring up, is the chief, like, one of the recurring antagonists of the movie. I just didn't really get into her. I didn't think she was that funny. Something about her design, it might have just been, like, the blockiness of it, just, I felt like I was looking at a Steven Universe character the entire time, which is not bad. I like Steven Universe, but I was like, what's a Steven Universe character doing here? Like, she felt so out of place. And then when I think about Madagascar 3 and how, I don't remember, like, Dubois, I think, how funny that character was and just how insane they were, I was like, yeah, this feels like a far more restrained version of that, which to me just makes it a lot less funny. But yeah, overall, I feel like it does sum up DreamWorks. There's some things about it I like. There's some things about it I don't. Overall, I think it averages out to being above average. I feel like most of these movies, I would either happily rewatch, or at the very least be like, oh, okay, it's fine. Like, am I going to go out of my way to rewatch Spirit or Madagascar? No. But as, like, background noise, or it's like I have to watch a kid and that movie's on, I'm like, yeah, this is fine. If Home was on, I would change the channel. Like, I would, no, I'm not doing that. But, I mean, pretty much everyone's gonna have a bottom of the fucking barrel. I think Home is the worst I've seen, but, no, they can't all be winners. But overall, I would say that DreamWorks pretty much is.